The New York Rangers and Chicago Blackhawks will be celebrating their 100th anniversary season next year, and both teams have revealed their centennial logos. So in this video, we'll take a look at both of those logos and kind of speculate on what they're going to do for their centennial year. I do have a little bit of information on, kind of some direction on where they're headed, so we'll talk about that as well. Plus, I am going to look back a little bit on what other teams have done so far for their centennial seasons. So those teams being the Montreal Canadiens, Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Boston Bruins. Before we do get into it though, if you're new to the channel and you like hockey jersey content, please make sure to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. All right, let's get into it. I do want to start off by taking a look at what the other teams have done for their centennial seasons, just to give us a little bit of an idea of what the Rangers and the Blackhawks could do. If that doesn't interest you at all, or you already know, what the other teams have done, I'll leave a timestamp so you can kind of skip ahead to the Rangers and the Blackhawks news. I want to begin with the Montreal Canadiens because I actually really like what they did. So they actually did their celebration over the course of two seasons, the 2008-2009 season and the 2009-2010. They had two different patches that they used. This one right here went on their home and away jerseys. It's a decent looking patch, nothing really too crazy, just says 100 up top, the Montreal Canadiens logo, and then seasons just in French and in English, nothing really too crazy. They also had this patch right here, which went on their specialty jerseys. They had a bunch of specialty jerseys that they wore. I really like this patch a lot because honestly, for a very long time, I didn't realize the kind of shapes up top were 100. Like they kind of spelt out 100. I didn't realize that. I thought they were just really fancy loops, and I was like, it's kind of a cool design. But it took me a while to realize, no, that says 100. So I actually really like this secondary patch quite a bit. But yeah, like I mentioned, they had a whole bunch of jerseys that they wore over the course of those two seasons, and these are all of the jerseys here. Obviously the one in the top left, that's just their regular home jersey, but the rest of these are pulling from their history, and I really like that a lot. I think that's a great idea. They only wore these jerseys, I think, for like one game each. I'm pretty sure maybe it was 2 games. It wasn't very much. Like they did not wear them a ton, so I still really like that a lot. I think that's a fantastic idea. Definitely would not mind, either the Rangers or the Blackhawks doing that, because I think that is super cool. And yeah, I really like what the Canadiens did here. For the Maple Leafs, they celebrated their centennial season during the 2016-17 season, which coincides with the NHL celebrating their 100th season as well. So they kind of did a couple of things, but honestly, for the most part, it wasn't anything too special for the Maple Leafs, which I'm quite disappointed with. I wasn't disappointed then because I wasn't into jersey collecting at that time. I wouldn't get into jersey collecting until the season after, the 2018 year. But, I was still a Leaf fan. I still liked watching hockey, but I didn't really care too much that they weren't doing anything super special. However, now looking back on it, I do wish they did a little bit more, because what they did is they had this anniversary patch, which is actually a really cool patch. I like it a lot. However, they did not wear it on any of their jerseys. It was only on the helmets. That's it. They did technically get new uniforms that season, which is their current ones that they're wearing right now. But to me, it felt like they were more ushering in the Matthews, Marner, Nylander era than them celebrating their 100th anniversary season. So I don't really count that as much. They also had that Centennial Classic, but that was more of an NHL thing than really a Maple Leafs thing. And I guess that was kind of the season where they started wearing their St. Pat's jerseys for every St. Patty's Day. Technically, I guess they took off a season in the 2017-18 season. So the first year of Adidas, they didn't have any St. Pat's jerseys. But outside of that season, they've been wearing them every single St. Patty's Day since 2016-17. Aside from that, they had not done a St. Pat's throwback. There was the 2002 version, but that was the only other time. Before then, the last time that they wore anything St. Pat's was when they were called the St. Pat's. So yeah, I guess that kind of started a tradition then. To me, it doesn't really feel like they did anything too special, and maybe that's just because the things that they did do kind of became somewhat permanent. So my hope is that in 2027, they do another 100th anniversary, because in 1927, that's when they became the Maple Leafs. Before that, obviously, they were the Arenas, then the St. Pat's. So in 1927, they changed their name to the Maple Leafs. I'm hoping that they do something else. I don't know what, and honestly, I'm not going to think too hard about it, because I don't think that they are going to do anything. I think they're going to leave it there, but yeah, I'm kind of just hoping in the back of my mind, praying that they do something else in 2027, because yeah, at least in my opinion, they didn't really do anything too crazy. And then the last team that's done their centennial season so far is the Boston Bruins. Of course, they went all out for their centennial season. They had a brand new home jersey, brand new away jersey, brand new alternate jersey, and they knocked those out of the park. I think those jerseys are some of the best Bruins jerseys in their history. Unfortunately, I really like those jerseys a lot, especially that third jersey. I love that third jersey. I really do. The gold on the home and away jerseys is such a nice touch, and I love the logo and the cream for that alternate jersey. jersey. The Centennial patch is actually quite nice as well because it's very similar to just their regular shoulder patch that they wear with their, just regular home and away jerseys. So I thought that was very good as well. The thing that I liked so much about those jerseys though is the fact that they only wore them for the one season. It was a 1 year and done. They only had them for their Centennial season. I thought that was really cool. I respect that because I think very easily the Bruins could bring back one of those jerseys, especially that alternate, and I don't think fans would complain, but it looks like they're not going to, so I like that. I think that is pretty cool. They did also celebrate their 100th anniversary game this season against the Montreal Canadiens. I think it was on December 5th. They had a brand new jersey for that. That jersey I thought was pretty nice, but not as nice as the Centennial season jerseys, at least in my opinion. So yeah, I liked what the Bruins did there. I thought that was pretty cool, but that's all of the teams that have celebrated their Centennial season so far. So the Rangers and the Blackhawks celebrate their Centennial season next year, and then the season after that is when Detroit is celebrating their Centennial season. So let's talk about what the Rangers are doing, at least what we know so far. The only thing so far confirmed for the Rangers is this anniversary logo right here. I saw a lot of people complaining about this logo when it was first revealed. Honestly, I don't really know why, because I think it looks pretty good. Maybe it's just because I love when the Rangers do something with the shield. Those are basically my favorite jerseys, honestly. So the fact that it is a shield, kind of big outline there, and there's a little bit of a shield in the logo, I think that looks cool. It's two different shields, so it's not the same, so it's not too confusing. I think people's biggest complaints were the different shades of blue and red used in this logo, and I guess I can kind of see it because it's a little bit awkward, but at the same time, the Rangers have used those shades of blue and red during their history, so it's not like that's anything new. Plus, I feel like, especially that blue in the Ranger shield logo that's, kind of in the smaller shield there, I feel like that would get lost with the background. So I like the fact that it is a different shade of blue, makes it stand out a little bit more. Yeah, I honestly really don't have a problem with this logo whatsoever. I actually like it quite a bit. I think it would look very good as a shoulder patch, so I'm looking forward to that and seeing how it looks on the jersey itself. I am kind of hoping that the Rangers will use it on both shoulders since, their home and away right now don't have any shoulder patches. And I don't like when teams just use one shoulder patch. That was my biggest complaint with the Bruins and their Centennial season, how they only had one shoulder patch. They didn't have two. So I'm kind of hoping that the Rangers double up if they do decide to use just the regular home and away jerseys for next season, which I think they are. So the things that I've heard so far with the New York Rangers, I haven't heard too much, but I have heard that they will be getting a new alternate jersey next season. So not the same alternate jersey that they're wearing right now. I expect them to still keep that jersey, but also to have basically, I guess, a 100th anniversary jersey specifically going into next season, which makes sense. Now, that's all I really know as of right now. I don't know what it looks like, what color it's going to be, anything like that. My kind of hope is that they do. Honestly, I would like for them to do something with the shield, but I kind of doubt it. I don't think they're going to do anything with the shield because I don't think most Rangers fans like that. They already have the shield as their alternate jersey, so it'd be a little bit strange to have two of those at the exact same time. Plus, they barely used the shield logo in their history. They used it during like the late 1970s for, 3 or 4 seasons. They used it on their current third jersey, and they have the different one on this Winter Classic. And that's, I think, the only times that they've ever had the shield on the front of their jersey. So I don't think the shield is going to be on that 100th anniversary. I don't really think it's going to be a Lady Liberty either because they've already used the Lady Liberty twice with their reverse retros, so I don't think that's going to happen. What's most likely, at least in my mind, is probably just a jersey that has New York on the front, right? Just straight up New York. They had that back in the day, so that is kind of my expectation. I could be wrong, and I think it would be a little bit of a lighter blue that they're using right now because they did have that back in the day, so that's kind of what I think is going to happen. Maybe they still just have Rangers on the front, but I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy, too different from their current home jersey, just because the Rangers have had basically the same jersey for a very long time. They've had very few different jerseys throughout their years. They've stayed relatively the same. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy with that anniversary jersey, but I could be wrong on that. That is my speculation. Like I said, the only thing that I've heard so far is that there will be a new alternate jersey, so AKA a 100th anniversary jersey. Now moving on to the Chicago Blackhawks. So once again, the only thing that is out to the public so far is the fact that they have the anniversary logo. So this is what it looks like. This is the only thing that is kind of basically official. This has been out for like a very long time. I think honestly a couple of months. I didn't talk about it when it was revealed because honestly don't really have a ton to say about it. It's fairly bland. It's kind of just okay. The one interesting thing, and this was actually pointed out to me by Windy City Hockey, he's a Blackhawks YouTuber. If you guys don't know him, I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. You should check him out if you're interested in anything Blackhawks. The neat thing about the anniversary logo is the Blackhawks logo in the middle. So that is outlined in tan, which is not how the current Blackhawks logo looks. This is how it used to look from about 1965 up until 1999. So, it's not like there's a huge difference in between this logo and the current one, but it is something a little bit different. And at least I expect this logo to show up as the main logo on their new alternate jersey. So I've heard that they will be getting an alternate jersey, once again, another basically celebration centennial jersey next year. And that jersey, from what I hear, is going to be black, which I know a lot of fans are going to be really, really happy about. I'm happy about it because that is what I like the Blackhawks in. I think they look really good in black. I know a lot of Hawks fans have been begging Chicago to bring back a black alternate jersey. So yeah, I think a lot of fans are going to be really, really happy about that. And yeah, my guess is that that logo with the tan outline will show up on that jersey because that's how it was back in like the 1996 to 1999, I think is when they first had those black alternate jerseys. So yeah, that is my expectation at least. So I think that jersey is going to look really cool. On top of that, I'm also expecting the Hawks to have a centennial home jersey. So kind of like what the Bruins did where they had the 1 year of a new home, away, and alternate jersey, and it was just for that centennial season. I'm thinking the Hawks are going to do something similar, but I haven't heard anything about a new away jersey, just a home and an alternate. So if they're not going to do an away jersey, I'm wondering how different that home jersey really is going to be. Apparently, the Winter Classic jersey the Hawks used this year, it was actually initially intended to be part of the centennial season, and I'm guessing that once they figured out that they were in another Winter Classic, they were kind of like, well, we have nothing else to use. We've been in so many Winter Classics, we are kind of out of options at this point, and they threw it there. So I'm wondering if maybe they could still implement it into their centennial season, and it's possible it could be the home jersey, and that's why they don't have an away centennial jersey. Like maybe it was kind of a last minute thing and they decided to just go with it anyways. I'm not really quite too sure. That's kind of just my speculation. And the last team to have their centennial season, like I said, is the Detroit Red Wings. That will take place during the 2026-2027 season. As of right now, haven't heard anything. Don't expect to hear anything about that until probably next year. Maybe we'll see some anniversary logo pop up, or maybe we'll hear what the Red Wings are going to do. I don't think they're going to do anything too special, to be honest, because it is the Red Wings. But oh my God, I would love so much if they did a throwback to the Detroit Cougars. If you guys do not know what the Detroit Cougars, if you don't know what the sweater they used to wear back in the day, this is what it looked like. Oh my God, it's so dumb. It's so stupid. That logo on the front is so ugly, and I love it. It reminds me so much of my Hamilton Tiger sweater that I just got the other day. So if I could have the Hamilton Tiger sweater next to a Detroit Cougar sweater, I'd be so happy. I'd be so happy. I would want it. I just want it so bad. The NHL has never done a throwback to the Detroit Cougars, and it's all I want in my life because it's just such an ugly looking logo. It is terrible. I don't think Detroit is going to do something like that because, yeah, even, the Red Wings, like I said, they don't do anything special really at all. So for them to do something like that would be insane. Like it would blow me out of the water. I'm not expecting it whatsoever. My only hope is that maybe they do some sort of sweater collection, like the Bruins. They did a centennial sweater for this season. They had that during their centennial game, and the Montreal Canadiens kind of have like a heritage collection with sweaters and stuff like that. And I think actually, I know at some point Chicago did some, throwback sweaters as well. So my only hope is for the Red Wings to do some sort of sweater collection just for the fans themselves. If they did that, I'd be so happy. I'd be completely okay with that because, yeah, that logo, I don't know if it needs to be on the ice again. Probably doesn't, and I don't expect Detroit to be the team to do that, right? If a team were going to do that, yeah, like I could see, obviously, the Anaheim Ducks, because they brought back the Wild Wing with that Reverse Retro 2.0, and maybe the Bruins, because the Bruins kind of, they had the Meth Bear on the front with their Winter Classic, but yeah, not too many teams would be willing to do something like that, so I understand it. I don't think they're going to bring that back on the ice, so yeah, a sweater collection, if they decided to do that, I would love that so much. That's my only hope for the Red Wings for that 2026-2027 season. But yeah, outside of that, don't have any information on what they're going to do yet. It's just, that's my hope. That is quite a long shot, so we'll kind of have to see what Detroit does. It would be so cool. It really, really would. It's going to do it for me, though. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think about the anniversary logos in the comments down below for the Rangers and the Blackhawks, and, kind of what you think they're going to do for their centennial season, what you would like to see out of them. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, follow me on all my social medias. See you guys next time. Bye.